It's Emily. Zach in camera shot on a MacBook Pro. It's Henry. First place. Congratulations, Joey.
Let's be real. The last thing I thought would happen is win first place. I honestly entered the competition thinking that I could maybe make it into the top 3 and get a GoPro. See? I did say that. Yo, so I decided to make this video because I got a lot of comments and a lot of questions and messages of people asking, what camera did you use? How did you do this effect? You know, what location was it? Hey dude, you should really tell them that like this isn't the only way to win the competition, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't think that you're all bad or whatever. Oh yeah, of course, bro. I'm not saying that I'm a professional by any means or an expert. I'm just saying that this is the way that I did it, just, you know, to answer the questions. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, go get him, Tiger. Spider-Man reference.
Go get him, Tiger.
Cool. Moving on. Okay, so here's how it went down. First, let's get the technical stuff out of the way. Everything was shot on an A7 III on a Tamron 28 to 75mm 2.8 lens. I used a Ronin for the majority of the shots. White balance, daylight. I used a custom HLG color profile that I picked up from Olufemi Tutorials. Man, that guy, he's a boss. Feel free to check him out. The reason why I picked this picture profile is because you don't have to try too hard to make it look good, but at the same time, it does have enough dynamic range to change it up. I intentionally didn't use an ND filter just because I wanted to crank up that shutter speed so that I can make it look really choppy and just like really like intense, you know what I mean? Most of the time I used autofocus, but I use manual focus for like the big action shots and just open up the f-stop to around like 4.0 to 5.6 or something like that. I filmed in downtown OKC near the bombing memorial. I mean, you should see that reflection pool. Like, there was no better place to do it. Sweet, let's get into the real stuff, shall we? I knew that I needed to stand out.
It's a cake.
Between Hayden, Liam, and Mike, they have about 685,000 subscribers. Let's say a quarter of those people watch that video. And let's say that half of them do the challenge. And then another half of them probably won't have enough time when they do watch the video. And the 80-20 rule tells me that 20% of those videos are going to be the best. So I figured I was going up against 8,000 people who are incredible at videos. Needless to say, I had to stand out somehow. It just had to have reflections. So I started there. So I made a list of all the things that had reflections so that I can keep those in mind while I was filming. One thing about reflections is that they're constantly changing, so I knew that I wanted to have movement throughout the entire video. To have movement, I knew that I needed to have someone film me or have a subject to film, because filming yourself with movement is a lot harder than it sounds. Hence why you saw me at the end of the video, they were all tripod shots. So I hit up my friend Gus. He's constantly down to be in my content videos, pictures, it doesn't matter. Surely he would be down. Yeah, he wasn't down. So back to square one. I thought, man, maybe I shouldn't do this. I don't have enough time, neither do I have a subject. It finally came to me. Story is king. So I wanted to tell a story of glasses and what people go through. You know, like different perspectives. To show that empathy is something that is probably one of the coolest things, but a lot of times in life, you won't notice it until the very end, and by then it's too late. Originally, I wanted to do 3 segments of 15 seconds. One scene of where we're hanging out with my friends with a pair of black glasses on. And then I would use the reflections in the glasses to transition to another scene. The second scene with red glasses of something more high intense like the clips that you saw in the video. And the last would be me in some white glasses with some kind of reveal at the end. I would be in a bathroom taking off my glass, being freaked out because of what I just saw through these glasses. I would open the door trying to get out and just see the reflection of the same bathroom that I'm in. All I had to do was put a green screen behind the door and then just key it out and post. I was inspired to do this by this video by Cinecom. Those guys throw down. And then I would look into the mirror to see my reflection and then look back down while my reflection is looking right back at me, and then we cut. Yeah, that didn't happen. Number one, the shots that I got with my friends, I was not impressed with them at all. I was just really bored whenever I saw those clips. Second, I didn't have enough time to film all the green screen stuff, especially if I was doing it by myself. So I opted to call some of my younger friends who are all into free running and parkour. Parkour! I was originally going to have 3 to 4 subjects, but only one could make it. So shout out to my boy. Everything that made it to the final video was filmed and edited in the same day. I thought I had until Sunday night, but Australian time is a little bit different than US time. So actually, instead of having until midnight on Sunday, I actually had until 9 a.m. on Sunday. So I edited a lot. So now that you know what all went into it, let's get into the stuff you really came for. Let's break down those effects. First, I wanted to show you that you were going into like a different world with these glasses. I went ahead and just made an adjustment layer, and I put the colors over here, and I put the ungraded stuff on this side, put a crossfade in between them just so that you could see the colors change. So if you listen closely, the music comes in louder whenever the glasses are put on, as well as all the ambience and sound effects, they come in at that very same time. Because sound design is everything. This is where I cranked up the shutter speed so I wouldn't have any motion blur, so it'd be like really choppy and really crispy. I shot it in 24 frames on purpose because whenever you're watching an entire video in slow motion, it can get pretty boring pretty quick. So if you mix it up, when you do get to a part that you do want it to be in slow motion, it is that much more impactful. This is the original shot, so you can see that there was a pole there, so I just masked it out. And again, I just hid the cut in between the brick wall there, added a little bit of directional blur and a little bit of crossfade just to make it look a little bit cleaner. So now the effect that everyone is asking about. The reason why this effect looks so good is because you see him running from the left of frame to the right of frame, so you expect him to come out on the other side, but then all of a sudden the wall flips, or what you thought was a wall. So this is where the magic just breaks apart. A lot of people thought that he was running behind a wall. No, it's not a wall actually. I was actually walking around downtown OKC and we saw these three things that they just like rotated. So I just started getting creative with it and I just made sure that the reflective glass took up the entire frame so that in post I would have a lot more leeway to be able to play with it and manipulate it. So this one came out pretty cool. I liked it. So this is a moment where I'm gonna geek out for a second, even though nobody probably even notices. I'm transitioning from the reflection of the wall and I'm going into this shot of water. And that wall with the reflective thing, it just doesn't look good. It was really jarring. So before I had actually recorded the water on itself and I actually masked it out so that when you see it now, the water is actually covering that part, making it seem like it's all in the water. Now when you go slow, it kind of looks like trash, but you probably didn't notice it, right? And of course we had to match cut, man, because match cuts are awesome, dude. I wish that the framing was a little bit better, but I mean, it came out all right. And right here, just a quick tip, go ahead and just follow the movement of whatever somebody's doing because it really sells it. So if you can see here, the foot comes down and the moment that the foot comes down, there's actually the piping of the handrail that just comes down. So it really sells that and makes it look kind of smooth right there. So I wanted to do like a reflective kaleidoscope effect, but I didn't want it to look cheesy and it say, hey, this is a kaleidoscope effect. So I did it this way. No one really notices this, but it did kind of take a while. What I actually did is I took one clip and then I just reversed it and then I horizontal flipped it. So now it looks like it's just one piece and just with a little bit of cropping and some motion blur, when I go slow, you can see that just trees pop out of nowhere. And that's why I added some sound effects to make it kind of hide that, like if it was on purpose, you know, kind of that Ben TK style, just like trees popping out of the ground. Originally, I really wanted him to be in the frame at the same time, but that was way too hard. So I just moved on. And so then I just did a couple of tracking shots just to let the viewer just catch their breath a little bit. I just doubled up on the frame, turned down the opacity and just moved it around. Added a little bit of the chromatic aberrations effect, a little bit of sound effects, and hey man, you got yourself a glitch transition. And of course, you got to go with the match cut because match cuts are dope. And as you saw, we had to end it, bringing it all together, telling all the story in those last like 10 seconds, and there you go. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you for all the support. I will be making a cinematic vlog trip, and I know that everybody talks about cinematic vlogs, but it's more of kind of like an Andreas Hem kind of style thing. If you haven't looked him up, check him out, one of my favorite creators. But I will be making one of those for the California trip. So stay tuned and catch you on the flip side.